Perhaps the most important question with respect to the Supreme Court's gay marriage ruling is this: was justice served? If justice was served, then it seems reasonable for Christians to support this decision. After all, Christians do not favor injustice. We recognize that Scripture commands us to act justly, Micah 6:8. However, as with so many other virtues mentioned in the Bible, justice is never defined. God allows us to work out that for ourselves. So, what is justice? The ancients understood justice as giving to others their due. Seems reasonable enough. Let's use this as our starting point to determine if legalizing same-sex marriage was just. For laws that further justice are worthy of acceptance by all, including Christians. So does redefining marriage to include same-sex relationships bring us closer to justice or further away from it? That depends on how we understand both discrimination and marriage. But before we consider this, let's clear up a common mistake that Christians make with respect to this topic. You'll hear Christians say, "We don't live in a theocracy, so why should we expect others to hold to our standards?" This is completely wrong-headed. This has nothing to do with a theocracy. It has nothing to do with holding others to our standards. It has everything to do with justice. If redefining marriage to include same-sex relationships brings us closer to justice, then we should support it. But if it takes us further away from justice, then we should oppose it. It has nothing to do with establishing a religious point of view. It has everything to do with justice. And that starts with avoiding discrimination. To be just, a society must avoid all harmful discrimination. However, not all discrimination is harmful. Sometimes it's necessary in order to be wise and to do good. We discriminate whenever we make a distinction, and distinctions are warranted when things don't meet essential criteria. No one faults us for refusing to deposit our money with just anyone claiming to be a banker. Why? Because we expect certain fundamental things from bankers in order to be considered as bankers. These distinctions are wise, not discriminatory in any harmful sense. People only suffer injustice from discrimination when they have a legitimate expectation of being treated equally. And that legitimate expectation applies if what they are seeking is actually equal. Do homosexuals have a legitimate expectation of being treated equally with respect to marriage? That depends on if marriage has an inherent nature that homosexual relationships would also reflect. Either marriage has an inherent nature or it's merely something that society makes up. But no society invented marriage. Society doesn't create marriage. Marriage creates society. And only natural marriage does this. Only natural marriage serves the common good by uniting a man to a woman so that they can provide a family to the children born to them, bringing to those children the unique developmental values of both mother and father. There's nothing inherently discriminatory about this. At least one justice ruling in favor of gay marriage in the Obergefell decision recognized this. In the oral arguments before the decision, Justice Stephen Breyer remarked that natural marriage, quote, has been the law everywhere for thousands of years among people who were not discriminating even against gay people, end quote. He's correct. Without natural marriage being inherently discriminatory, it's hard to see how redefining marriage serves justice. Discrimination occurs only when people are treated unequally, when equal treatment is due. However, since same-sex relationships are intrinsically unequal to natural marriage, no equal treatment is due. Justice is not about treating unequal things equally. That's social engineering. And social engineering has nothing to do with justice.